Hello Buglers, I am Andy Zaltzman. This is Bugle issue 4378, sub-episode A for At This Very Moment the UK might be about to ditch yet another Prime Minister as it continues its headlong pursuit of full national failure, but we'll be back with a full episode next week to try to make sense of it all. For this week's sub-episode we have some choice satirical ramblings and rumblings saved up from the last few weeks. In our first bonus clip, hewn from the last few days of the little missed month of April 2026, I was joined by Nish Kumar and Alice Fraser, and we discussed the White House Correspondents' dinner that thankfully did not end up how it might have ended up. Another attendee at the dinner was UFC President Dana White.
Yes, because it's for journalists, Andy. No one is doing more to further the cause of American journalism than Dana White. He's basically Woodward and Bernstein.
Wrestling as God intended in an octagon. Octagon? Hexagon? I can't remember. Octagon, isn't it? He described the experience of the press dinner as awesome, which is not the words that most people would use about an attempted assassination of a head of state. Now, look, I love sport, but UFC is not a sport I've added to my overladen platter.
Wow. Wow. We finally found a sport Andy Zaltzman couldn't get interested in.
Aesthetically, it seems to be a cross between two people scrabbling around on the ground trying to find a pen lid they both claim to be theirs, the mating rituals of an extremely violent species of mongoose, and an incel's internal monologue. If Trumpism was a sport, which it basically is, it would be UFC. But I mean, describing an assassination attempt as awesome is, even by the standards of modern linguistic flexibility, it's kind of deeply unpleasant.
No, and Andy, I agree with you. UFC is not a sport. There's no, unless it goes very badly wrong, there's no ball skills, you know.
I mean, listen, I saw the Dana White interview. I saw a few people who had been at that event be interviewed afterwards. And yeah, listen, if you were in a room where someone was shooting a gun, that is, that's deeply frightening. If they're shooting a gun at a head of state, that also has another layer of being deeply frightening. But very little of that fear, which I imagine we would all have expressed, everyone on this recording right now, had we been there, did not seem to be present in any of the people who were actually in the room. And I mean, I can't explain why that is. I just know that there have been times where I've been at a party where some of the people at the party have been doing things that might lead them to not be able to express fear healthily. I can't prove this. This is based on absolutely nothing, but I imagine the bogs at the White House Correspondents' dinner looked like they'd been a heavy sneezing fit by Tony Montana.
I thought you meant they've been praying particularly hard.
Yeah. They're men of the cloth, just like all the stockbrokers in the 1980s. Those people were praying really fucking hard.
Well, it's a similar body posture in some ways. Trump has also managed to anger almost half the world's population in one social media repost, in which he reposted something from Michael Savage, the right-wing podcast host and provocateur, or as they used to be called in more simple, civilized times. Trump reposted Savage saying, "A baby here in America becomes an instant citizen, and then they bring the entire family in from China or India or some other hellhole on the planet." So, actually, that's, as well as China and India, it's everywhere else as well. It's like the entire planet there. Trump also posted a video of Savage saying these comments. The Indian Foreign Ministry spokesperson described the remarks as obviously uninformed, inappropriate, and in poor taste, the triple 20 of social media, and added, They do not reflect the reality of the India-US relationship, which has long been based on mutual respect and shared interests. Well, Mr. Foreign Ministry spokesperson, you might want to click refresh all on that one. Times have changed. Mutual respect, shared interest. Only one of those 4 words is in the Trumpist lexicon. And to give you a clue, it's not one of the first 3.
Listen, man, this guy, I was previously a huge fan of Donald Trump, but this week he's really roused me off. He's slamming Britain and he's slamming India. That's both of my identities. What's he going to slam next? Bob Dylan fans with bowel problems? This is a disgrace. It will not stand, except apart from the fact that it almost certainly will stand. But yeah, the sort of the repost is contentious enough. I mean, describing most of the world's population as Andy is living in a hellhole is not ideal. But it also comes off the end of a series of policy-based problems that the Trump administration has created for the Indian community, most notably this massive crackdown on H-1B visas, which are commonly used by Indian tech workers. So it's not just the fact that he's calling it a hellhole. He's also sort of saying, we're going to make it more difficult. And what I would say is, if the Trump administration is planning on cracking down on Indian tech workers, good luck maintaining the US tech industry, motherfucker, okay? What are you going to do without Indians? I'm very sorry. You're in real trouble. Let's be real now. Regardless of your ethnicity, if you need tech support, medical advice, or anything from a shop, you don't trust a non-Indian. This is a hugely catastrophic decision. A congressman, Ami Bera, who's a Democrat whose parents are Indian, has called the post by Trump offensive, ignorant, and beneath the dignity of the office he holds. Listen, we've got to get well-meaning Americans to stop saying things like, this is beneath the dignity of the office he holds. At what point are you going to understand that dignity is a foreigner, and like all foreigners, Donald Trump has no time for it? Like, it's a crazy state of affairs. I was really struck by how little everyone's learning, because when I was in America a couple of weeks ago, it was when he got rid of Pam Bondi as the AG, and people in the press were openly celebrating that. When are you all going to learn your lesson? He's not going to ever respect the dignity of the office. And if he gets rid of one of these morons, he's not going to replace them with someone better. If you cut the head off a hydra, it doesn't grow back as a puppy. He's going to replace best case scenario Kid Rock, and worst case scenario a dog he saw on the internet whose bark kind of sounds like the N-word. Like that. That's where we're at with these people.
Yeah, I do feel like it's not to minimize the offense felt by half the world's population, but I have toddlers, and the way you discourage bad forms of attention-seeking behavior is sometimes you just ignore it. Otherwise, they learn how they're going to get you. Trump's done the equivalent of spending an entire lifetime just honing the exact right tone of contempt. Okay, so I was in a secondhand shop the other day, and there was a 60-year-old lady there with her 90-year-old mother. She was like in her late 60s, and her mother was like serious 90. And the 60-year-old lady got bored of being in the secondhand shop, and her mum was still up the back of the shop on her Zimmer frame. And the 60-year-old lady stood in the doorway, and she went, "Mom!" And I turned around. So what I'm saying is there are some universal and you just have to learn not to react.
Those are words we can only pray and hope, neither of which are at all effective. Both 0% effective right now that the world pays heed to.
Alice, interestingly, we're getting breaking news that Trump is actually diverting a lot of US financing for technology into developing the universal dog whistle. So that couldn't be...
More from Alice and Nish later. The previous week, Tiffany Stevenson and Neil Delamere were my co-hosts, selected from just over 8 billion contenders, and we simultaneously marvelled and shuddered at the latest in the catalogue of extraordinary but fundamentally pointless technological creations, marathon-running robots.
Don't tell the robots I said this, because when they take over, they'll come for me. But I'd rather watch this than horse racing. At least if these robots get injured, right, they won't feel it. And I think it's quite exciting. I think we should make it more realistic, though. We should have them, if it is a proper marathon, we should have them stop at the side of the road for a shit. We should have them throwing water over themselves as the crowd cheers them on. maybe make them eligible for Sports Personality of the Year. Still more personality than some of the snooker players who've won. Shot across the bows, Andy.
Sullivan's never won it. He's never won Sports Personality of the Year. I think you might need to go back to the 80s for us, if at all, for a snooker player winning. That's brutal.
Didn't Steve Davis win it?
Dave, I'm going to have to check this now. He may well have done. I'll see if I can get a list. You carry on. I'm going to look up.
Well, I think what we should do as well is that we get some posters of these robots, and we get a calendar of the Beijing 300 competitors, just the fittest robots in the race. And then singularity will have happened when they make the cover of Sports Illustrated and everyone starts over them.
What do you mean stars? Oh, listen, I'm an early adopter. That's all I'm going to say. I find this disgusting and amazing in equal measure. Disgusting because there's a load of humanoid robots in that half marathon, Tiff and Andy. Not one of them did it for a charity. Not one of them. None of them got sponsored for anything. I'm not asking for a human charity. I give a few quid to the repair shop on BBC One. It can be a robot charity. I don't mind that. But I'm also kind of amazed because it demonstrates robots are running half marathons. It demonstrates that technologists now can replicate human qualities so well that they can program a robot to have a midlife crisis. It's kind of remarkable. Do you remember when you used to see robots on Robot Wars? And it was just always a team of 4 lads, all called Steve for some reason, and they would have a Roomba with a pitchfork attached to it. And now suddenly we're at the singularity, right? We're all going to die. Robots are going to win every single sport. And it's weird putting metal onto a robot if a robot wins an Olympic medal. It's just like putting a skin graft around a human. It's the stuff they're made. And if we're running against them in a race, you can't even get in their head. Like you can't trash talk C3PO. Like your mother mowed lawns. You're just a big Camp Oscar statue. We are sowing the seeds of our own destruction. These things are going to wipe us out. I just feel like a Native American looking at a Pilgrim Father going, no, there's fresh water over there. No, I wouldn't eat that. No, listen, you listen to me and I will see you right. A blanket from me, you shouldn't have. It's not a good idea.
A midlife crisis robot. I love the idea of like dating a much younger robot. I don't know what that would be. Is it a nano? Are you dating a nano?
That sounds like an older robot, doesn't it?
A nano's an older. Okay.
I'm seeing the NutriBullet. Ooh. There's a firecracker in the fridge. Ooh. I have to replace my motherboard to keep up.
Motherboard. I can confirm only one snooker player has ever won the BBC Sports Personality of the Year. That was Steve Davis in 1988. So
wow.
There we go.
I stand by my joke, Andy.
The week before the robots ran into the future, I was joined by Anuvab Pal and Sarah Barron. And if you would like to hear what we thought about the story that the British Bitcoin entrepreneur Adam Back is not the founder of Bitcoin, according to himself at least, and about reports that the earliest recorded octopus has turned out not to be an octopus at all, then have we got a treat coming up for you right now. In other denial news now, a British man has denied that he was the creator of Bitcoin, having been named as such by the New York Times. Adam Back has said he was not the man who created Bitcoin, known as Satoshi Nakamoto. And I'm delighted by this because, look, with something like Bitcoin, and, you know, I've said over the years, I'm not a huge fan. I'm skeptical enough of real money, let alone pretend money. It would be so disappointing if the whole mysterious hyper secret had been invented by someone with as a name as prosaic as Adam Back. You want it to be something like Genie Ap Shuddercore III or Trillicent Phantasmagorg or Garthrude Krakatoam or Zygote Q Wamp. Adam Back. I mean, But if it turns out that someone called Adam Back had created Bitcoin, I think the whole thing would just collapse overnight to its fundamental real terms value of absolutely nothing.
No more Bitcoin. I was thinking, what if this person isn't actually Japanese? It'll be like the Rachel Dolezal thing all over again. Like there's a cultural appropriation component to this.
Yeah.
I can't hear the name Satoshi Nakamoto without thinking of Kaiser Sose.
Well,
Legend.
in that movie, the guy who hires Kaiser Soze, his name is Mr. Kobayashi.
Oh my God, of course.
So it's for. Can I just say that there's a lot of brilliant things in the world that have been done by middle-class, middle-aged Englishmen.
Yeah.
And I think because they have such ordinary names, they're just embarrassed to go out into the world and say it. For example, I think this big New York Times expose to find the founder of Bitcoin came after the Reuters expose to find Banksy. And after all the digging, they realized it's probably a guy called Robin Gunningham from Bristol who supports Millwall or something. He's just a very ordinary guy. And they just can't, I guess middle class England can't fathom how just a guy like that could also be Banksy. So, this guy, he probably, Andy, listens to you on Test Match Special. Plays squash, but is the founder. He needs a Karate Kid name. He needs Satoshi Nakamoto. It's very hard for genius to come from a guy called Gary from Cheltenham. I think it's difficult.
There are various rumors as to who the real identity of the Bitcoin creator were, including Banksy himself, albeit that's a rumor that I've literally just made up. Other people on the list include Al Gore, the former vice president, God, who's remained eerily quiet on it, maybe focusing on other stuff right now. It's called Bitcoin. Jason Bittner, the American thrash metal drummer, best known for his work with the band Shadows Fall, hence the name, Bitcoin. And if you transcribe the rhythm of his drum solos, it spells out the blockchain algorithmic infracode that underpins the whole Bitcoin exostructure. Have I used the right terminology there? Another rumored creator is Elon Musk, who's the secretive sixth child in the Elon Musk franchise. Big Bird, that was an episode of Sesame Street that went wrong and was never broadcast. And the 17-year-old longhand paper coding fan Barfield Mountnodger, who wrote out some code one afternoon some years ago in the park whilst his friends were playing with a swan, chucked it in a bin where it was found by a passing granny who typed it into her new computer and accidentally invented a new currency. So those are the other possibilities, and hopefully someday we will know.
I would like to invest. I'm just putting it out here for everybody to consider. I'd like to invest in Zolt's coin.
Right.
A currency that you could translate into cricket match tickets. The Bitcoin has risen. There's a Dogecoin, which is based on a dog. There's Shiba Inu, which is a Japanese cat. These are all variations of blockchain currencies. Why can't we do money to cricket?
Well, yes. There is a sort of a version of that, which is that you can exchange your money for tickets to my tour shows currently. Dates and details available at andysalzman.co.uk. Another denial this week is by a long-dead octopus, formerly renowned as the earliest known octopus, has now denied, or had it denied on its behalf, that it is actually an octopus at all. Anuvab, you are our fossilized cephalopods correspondent. Is it unclear exactly how they worked out it was not an octopus? Maybe it just didn't taste quite so perfect with paprika. I don't know. What was the so what's the story behind this?
Well, apparently, the University of Reading did a study where they found that this octopus that's been on display, which is supposed to be the world's oldest octopus, is actually a very different animal. It's related to a modern animal called a nautilus, which is a multi-tentacled animal, a cephalopod with an external shell. So it's not an octopus, but apparently they're saying that that's also Banksy.
Right.
It's this thing, and also the founder of Bitcoin. So it's basically all part of the same scam. So for years and years, people were going to see the world's oldest octopus, and now realize that it's this animal that lives deep underwater, which looks like an octopus, but isn't an octopus.
Right.
And I don't know if people will ask for their money back. I don't know how it works.
Was this just not a case of someone making a mistake and counting to 8 incorrectly? I genuinely, with these stories of things that are like, how old is this thing? Was it like 400 million years? It's like, I can't do it. I get excited for the story. Ooh, an octopus. And you think, oh, that'll be like nice. That'll be like a nice palate cleanser as we read about war, death, the fire, and destruction. Oh, an octopus. And then it's like 400 million years. And my brain is like, I can't. It's like when you go to museums and they're like, hey, want to look at a meteorite? And you're like, no, I can't take this right now. I can't.
But again, this throws a lot of things into a bit of a tizzy because pub quiz questions, for example, what is the oldest octopus in the world? And they always refer to this one. And you're absolutely right, Sarah. It's some 300-400 million years old. And the biggest problem is the Guinness Book of World Records called this the oldest octopus. Now, who do they apologize to? Where do you pay reparations? There are lots of topics here. You can't just throw out trivia and have it be wrong and have there be no consequences. Then some severe beheadings need to follow. Something needs to happen.
I know. It's really shaken my faith in them. And I felt like Guinness are very laser focused with their business model of Irish Stout and books of world records. Where are they going next? They need to diversify because everyone's going to lose their faith in the fact checking here now.
And there are so many knowing ones. They always say, 7 wonders of the world, and someone will always say Hanging Gardens of Babylon, and it's never correct, because it's not been one and stuff. So now, world's oldest octopus. This was holding for a long time.
Yep.
Now, if this is just some rubbish, cephalopod without a shell, for some reason, this cephalopod decided to take off its shell. And now, for all these years, we're all confused. But then what is really holding? The ground is shifting under our feet. If Mount Everest is not the tallest,
right.
What record can we believe?
What can we trust? I would have liked this story more if it was like, we've discovered actually octopuses didn't evolve until the 1990s. That would have been interesting.
And finally, for this sub-episode, more from Nish and Alice and a special extended director's cut version of the Bugle's Biopic review section in the bin, including a quick piece of bullshit fact-checking from someone whose factual accuracy I have been quite sceptical of for over 50 years now. Me. This week we have a special biopics section, reviewing all the latest biopics. This after the controversy around Michael, the Michael Jackson biopic that critics seem to suggest does not cover all aspects of the former pop star and no-time world snooker champion. So we review The First Lady on Mars, which is a new biopic of Amelia Earhart, a bold, if revisionist retelling of the story of pioneering aviator Earhart, which claims that the reason her missing plane was never found was that she flew it to Mars. The First Lady on Mars has been criticised, like Michael, for a lack of scientific accuracy, both in showing Amelia on the Red Planet without breathing apparatus, and for claiming that she was First Lady at the time, having secretly married Franklin Roosevelt. The director, Drellard Butt-Clark, said, well, we did take some creative wiggly room with the historically acknowledged story of Amelia, but we wanted to tell the truest story of her spiritual adventure, which in many ways is more true than the actual true story. Besides, what are facts? No one gives a flying fuck about facts anymore. And as for the actual flying fuck scene itself, that's just to spice up the narrative a bit. Starring Sigourney Weaver as Earhart, Timothy Chalamet as Roosevelt, and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as Big Bertie Brassballs, King of the Martians. We also review Ozzy and the Boss. Ozzy and the Boss. You may well ask after seeing Ozzy and the Boss, did Lee Harvey Oswald ever actually meet Bruce Springsteen, who would have been only 14, of course, when Oswald allegedly died? Certainly it is, I think, an uncontrovertible fact to say that they did not win the men's doubles at Wimbledon in 1963. Oh, hang on, let me just check. I might have got the wrong year for that.
God forbid
bullshit has to be
the
true.
Potato dauphinoise of bullshit is not historically accurate in the one point that you chose to decide to make it accurate.
This is the first law of bullshit. Bullshit has to be accurate.
Here it is, everybody. Fact checking his own bullshit. The Andy Zaltzman story. That's the name of my controversial Andy Zaltzman biopic. Largely focused on his time editing the sports page of his university newspaper, where he put several fake stories in. That's actually true.
That is true. That is true. The Oxford versus Cambridge speed sculpture competition in 1995 was a classic. Anyway, it's certainly true. Certainly true. If we may pick up the bullshit where I left it, check the factualness of the bullshit. It's certainly true to say that Lee Harvey Oswald and Bruce Springsteen did not win the men's doubles at Wimbledon in 1963. It was Mexico's Osuna and Palafox who won against the French pair Barclay and Darmon, and there is also no record of a fist fight or javelin throwing during the match. We also review the other Michael film, which is a biopic of General Sir Michael Jackson, the former head of the British Army. Unfortunately, time for release on the same weekend as Michael, the Michael Jackson pop star biopic. Similarly questionable in terms of accuracy, the scene in which General Sir Michael wrestled mano a mano with Hitler on the edge of a cliff has had the history pedants up in arms, but it's amazingly choreographed. And the culminatory tombstone pile driver move with which Jackson won the war is one that the Undertaker himself would have been proud of. And finally, St. Peter, Arab Slayer, tagline, the real story of the greatest US Defense Secretary in the history of the universe. Tells the story of how Pete Hegseth developed from his miraculous birth in a single shaft of sunshine in the middle of a hurricane that destroyed everything else within a 1,000-mile radius, via Jesus' own personal blessing from the cross into Donald Trump's human emissary on Earth and heroic commander of all recorded crusades. There is some disagreement in the historical community over whether Hegseth did actually throw a nuke down Osama bin Laden's throat at the siege of Jerusalem in the year 1099, but it's a great scene in a truly amazing story. Have you guys seen any other biopics you'd like to chuck into this section?
Andy, I just have a very vivid vision of specifically your audience, your target audience, Andy. It's just a person with an encyclopedia in their hands, but it's attached by an elastic to their wrist. So they're either checking you on facts or flinging it furiously across the room at the wall.
That's what encyclopedias are for.
I've actually had quite a series of unsuccessful meetings trying to get my Jeffrey Epstein biopic, Bear With Me, off the ground. And like the Michael biopic, it doesn't dwell on the salacious details of his life, but rather focuses on his time as an options trader at Bear Stearns in the late 1970s. And I've also been pitching a show. There were obviously a couple of films made about the Emily Maitlis Prince Andrew interview, and I'm pitching my movie watching the Maitlis Andrew interview about how I watched it with a few of my friends whilst having a beer. Again. Interest is low.
Well, there you are, Buglers. That is your bonus sub-episode for this week. We will be back next week with the fantastic Josh Gondelman and Alice Fraser for all the latest from this ridiculous planet and its even more ridiculous current species in charge. Make sure also to check out the Bugle sister podcasts from the wonderful comedic mind of Alice Fraser, Realms Unknown and The Gargle. And there's a Gargle live show at the Bill Murray in London on the 26th of June. Tickets on sale now. Alice is also performing at the Edinburgh Festival in August, along with various other Bugle co-hosts, including Tom Ballard, whose show Be Funny Challenge, brackets impossible brackets, is now on sale. It's at the Monkey Barrel at the Tron through August, 4:25 p.m, almost every day. Until next week, Buglers, goodbye.